Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Merry Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I'm Cheri Bant. This is my husband.
Darren
Bant, yes.
And I have the day off, so we're doing our video.
That's where I get my last name from you. Yeah.
I still have it, though. You didn't take it.
Yeah, well, I kind of took it over. You're sharing it with me.
Sharing it.
Temporarily. All right, so we are doing our update, or I'm doing my update with you. For week 34, living whole food plant-based. Woohoo!
Yay!
Woohoo! I have to, before I go into anything, our oldest daughter actually just left yesterday to go back home. She lives out east, and she was here for a week, so that was really fun. But when we picked her up at the airport, I will tell you exactly what she said to me. Can I tell exactly?
I think so.
She said, "Holy shit, you're skinny." And I said, "Well, you've seen me on, like all the lives and stuff." But she said, "Yeah, but not in person."
Just from the neck up.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I'm not dancing around. That's true. That's true. But anyways, I had to share that. It was kind of nice, but because she's used to me being big, I've been big all of her life. So
She was almost here for more than a week.
Yeah. Oh, she almost was. Yeah.
Flight canceled.
Yeah, her flight got canceled. Thank goodness for her boyfriend's boss, because he helped her out. But yeah, due to probably COVID, but I think it was not enough people on the plane, her flight got canceled. That's kind of like a bummer for anybody out there. I feel for you if you get stranded, because that stinks. Okay, so let's just, maybe I'll talk about Haley in a little bit too, about her being here and we only fed her. She did have meat one night. It wasn't meat, it was fish. But other than that, I didn't give her anything else. So, but anyways, okay, let's do update. 231 in the hospital. And if you don't know what that means, you can watch my video in the link down below on the YouTubes. And it has my very first video. If nothing else, you should go there and look at the difference, because it's really dramatic. But 231 in the hospital. I'm down as of this morning. I was 147, so that's a pound down from last week, which is amazing because I've eaten kind of a lot of oily stuff. Again, oily stuff that I probably would not have normally eaten, and I still lost a pound.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still coming off, guys.
You're still able to eat it. It's just
I'm still eating, and it's still coming out. I still am, I'm still kind of, watching, but not. This last week, I've kind of stuck a lot of stuff in my mouth that I wouldn't normally.
Well, what's funny is because now you can tell right away when you're not supposed to eat something. When you eat
it's not about not. It's the oil slick that's in my mouth. I try to stay away from added oils. That's the biggest thing that I eat whole food plant-based. I stay away from added oils. We still have lots of vegan-y junk food. And I'll talk about that a little bit more because we'll talk about holiday meals. I have that last. Okay, so anyway, down 84 pounds. Holy crap.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. My one son, it's not my youngest, but the next one up, he weighs 82 pounds. So I was carrying him around the other day, and I'm like, okay, I lost a whole Bennett. Yeah. And it's insane. I am so thankful that my body could put up with that for so long, because it's a lot. It's a lot, guys. Okay, so numbers. This is kind of a big deal. I have my follow-up. It's kind of like it's late, but it's my 6-month follow-up with my physician's assistant. That's the one who introduced me to all of this. I see him next week, but I had to get my blood work done prior to that because he wanted to see where my lipid, my panel was for my cholesterol, my A1C, fasting blood sugar. So I got all those numbers back. And I would have been really angry if any of them were not good. They were all fabulous. Of course they were. I just made a fart noise with my... Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
That was with my hands, guys, if you heard that.
So it was 6 months ago since you took your last...
It was June of... June. Yeah. So it's been a little bit longer then. Because it should have been the beginning of December, I think, that I had it done. And because we're farther in than that for the diet. But I think they had it set for my follow-up to be at the beginning of December. But I didn't call and do that until just recently. But anyways, okay, so I'll share numbers. Before, I didn't write down my total cholesterol, but it was 150, which was really good. And that was my 1-month follow-up after being on whole food plant-based. Now, I did have numbers done after that I share in one of the videos where I had to do it for insurance purposes. So I kind of knew where my numbers were about 2 months into it. Was it 2 or 3 months? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either.
But they had all come down. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. But from the last time that I was at the official doctor's office and had the blood work done through the lab at the hospital, it was 150 then. 140 now, so that's super good, super good.
That's total number.
Total cholesterol, yes. And my HDL went up a little bit. It was 34 before, which is kind of what they would deem what they said it was a little low. They like to see it a little higher. Now the doctor didn't say that, but the clinic did when I had for the insurance or whatever. But anyways, 34 at the doctor's before. It went up to 41. And what I know about good cholesterol and bad cholesterol is they're linked together. So 41 for the HDL, and then my LDL was 82. Last time it was 77. So as that good cholesterol comes up, the bad cholesterol, you know, they're kind of linked. So so that's good. And then my triglycerides. Now this was the thing before. Now I don't know. I have done a lot of research on the triglycerides. So, and if this all, you might not care, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. My triglycerides when I was in the hospital, when they did the lipid panel, were perfectly fine, right? Triglycerides is the fat in your, it's the measure of the fat in your blood, from what I understand, right? And if you are eating high refined foods, you can have issues with triglycerides being high. I had never had that. When I went on this diet, we'll call diet, or started eating this way, my triglycerides went to 390. And I can remember that was the first, and that's why I had to go back for insurance and have the blood work done for insurance, was because they're like, you're gonna have to do something about this. And I'm like, what do you mean? I couldn't eat any healthier. And
they didn't understand.
The lady said, well, you're going to have to, she was talking to me about diet pills and stuff. Because at the time I'd lost a little bit of weight, but maybe 11 pounds when I went in or whatever. But my triglycerides, they were over 390. So I'm like, shit. I mean, I was upset, wasn't I? And
well, yeah, because
and
what
okay,
was going on.
But I didn't understand. I kind of got it, but I didn't understand. Like, I never understood really what causes type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, all of that. It is fat that gets into your cells and doesn't allow the glucose, the sugar that your body needs, it doesn't allow it into your tissue. So that fat kind of like fills it full, right? And then you become insulin resistant because that you're making more and more, your body can't get that glucose because it's full of freaking fat. So fat, not sugar. Fat is what causes diabetes, type 2, insulin resistance, all that. So what happens when you go whole food plant-based, Darren? All of that fat comes out of your cells. So that's why my triglycerides went, whoa, it scared the shit out of me. Because I didn't know what I thought, well, what do I do now? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I think I did talk about this in a previous video. But so then when I did the follow-up at the 1 month with the doctor, it was 208. So the last time I saw him, physician's assistant, not doctor, it was 208. As of this last week, it was 86. It's perfect now. So, but see, that had to get out of my system. Mm-hmm. All that fat that was in my cells.
It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. And the way that I think what really, the diet helps, or the way that we eat helps. But a lot of exercise also that's a way to burn that fat. So anyways, so that's kind of a long story. But anyways, there we are. A1C, originally when I was in the hospital, the last time I had it checked officially through the doctor, 6.2. I think they told me 6.5 when I was in the hospital because they kept telling me I was diabetic. 6.2 is technically pre-diabetes, which I know that it's been much higher than that at times when I've had it in the past. I think I even had a 7 at one point, A1C. And I did keto, those kinds of things. It can bring that down a little bit. I don't dispute that. If you're a keto-er, send me a message. We need to chat because it's not good for you. But anyways, it's down to 5 even. I think 5.1 is when I checked it for insurance. So 5 even, that is spectacular. And then my fasting, sugars, which when I even started eating this way, I was still struggling with having normal fastings. My fastings were still high. Prior to eating whole food plant-based, I could not have I never had a fasting under, like, I was hitting like 160 was like my low in the morning when I wake up.
If you had 140s, that was like, woohoo,
yeah,
yay, 140.
I never got it under 100. That was the thing that was scaring me the most because I knew your fasting sugars need, your blood glucose need. If you haven't eaten and your body's still high, that's not a good thing. That's usually a very bad thing. So the last time I had the fasting done, it was 118, which is still elevated. That was at the 1 month mark. So all of you out there that do whole food plant-based, stick with it because it was 84 this time. And that's an average of like 90 some, like a 90 sugar, 96 sugar, mm-hmm. somewhere in there. And I think before it was like 130 was my average, which is high, guys. That's not, it could be much higher. I mean, maybe 2 years ago, my average probably was 200, mm-hmm. Because I know my sugars were high. So anyways, it's all good news.
One thing about your fasting sugar too is it's also not too low.
Right.
it's regulated.
Right.
So you're not too high, you're not too low. It's just staying right there.
But it took a little while for my body to adjust, and I think that you've got it. But it did. Like, it healed my body. I'm no longer diabetic.
Yeah, you don't even think about it anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, I remember I used to check my sugar.
When I first started, I was kind of, I did kind of stay, not that I stayed away from the higher carb items, but like I didn't eat the quantities that I do now. Like with rice and potatoes and all of that now, I can just consume lots of that and not have any issue. Even oatmeal would spike me a little bit in the beginning. It took it, but that was because I was not, until I built up that insulin sensitivity where you're not insulin resistant anymore, you are going to have some elevation. So in the beginning that happens. I actually just saw on a post on Facebook, where someone on another group, they said, well, I can't eat, I want to be vegan, I want to be a whole food plant-based, but I can't do it because I'm diabetic and my sugars spike. Well, they will in the beginning until you can get the fat out of your cells, and the only way to do that is to properly fuel your body. And so anyways, that was good news. Not that I expected anything different. I would have been pissed if I got anything different. But it just cements that what we're doing is just
right. And also the thing is, what's improved is not just one thing; it's everything.
Yes, weight down. All of my blood work is perfect. I call him, he's a doctor. I'm going to call him a doctor. I don't care. He sent me a message through like the online, and he's like, your numbers look fabulous. Cause for him, I'll see next week. I'm going to chat with him. But, a lot of people, they would have got where I was before in the hospital having the heart cath done. They would have probably put me not only on, like metformin, some kind of, insulin regulating drug, but I could have very well been put on something for the cholesterol, Lipitor. I actually think they gave me some.
They did give you a little bit.
Yeah, which I was kind of like, what the heck? But whatever. Ready for the pills. That's where I was at, and I just didn't want to go there. So anyways, I just wanted to share that. Some other things that I want to talk about is actually I want to talk about Mr. Man, because it started, our cycle kind of changed a little bit. Like when we were going to sleep, and a little bit more for him than for me. The kids were staying up a little later, so you were staying up a little later with kids, and they've gotten to where they're snacking a little later. So guess who started snacking a little later?
Me.
Yeah, you. Which he used to do all the time. Like, you used to go and have a bowl of cereal, you'd have a little something, and then come to bed. I tried to avoid doing that. I was way back when we weren't, doing this lifestyle. I would eat and then go to sleep. But that was the only way I could sleep, because I would probably, it was like my sleeping pill. I would eat, my sugars would go high, I would go to sleep. I would sleep for a while, but I never slept very well. Not until eating this way did I find sleep again. And we talked about it just this morning. Even as a child, I did not sleep very well at all. I'm sleeping so much better. But he started snoring. So guess who was waking up a lot more? Me. And I'm like, what's he doing? I thought, I even said to Allison, our oldest daughter who lives here, I said, I think he's sneaking some dairy at work or something. And then I started thinking, well, maybe he has some kind of a soy intolerance or something, because I know that can be an issue. We've been eating lots of tofu. I've been using soy on sauces, things like that. So I started thinking, well, maybe, but then I started paying attention to what he was doing differently, and he was eating right before going to bed. So we kind of argued a little bit, didn't we?
Oh, a little bit. We discussed it.
Yeah. Okay. And I said, do me a favor. Don't do that. Like, eat more at dinner. We go on our walk after dinner and just see what happens. Don't snack before bed. Just because everything that I've learned so far, your body needs rest. And if you're consuming food, doesn't matter what it is. This is it. Because you were eating things, you probably were eating chips and stuff though, but
a whole assortment of things.
Yeah, but even if it was better, I said, well, at least maybe do an apple. Something your body knows what it is, and it can, but don't try not to. And did it make a difference?
Yeah. Well, I was asleep, so I don't know.
Well, but you said you were sleeping as well, so you weren't as rested. So you knew that was true,
I was waking up at night more.
Yeah. So it not only was waking me up, it was waking him up a little more, and then, he was more tired. So I just wanted to share that, because it's an instance where you know, it isn't just what you eat always. It's sometimes how you do it too, and when. So, and it did definitely make it, because you're not snoring.
No,
like,
and the thing is, it wasn't anything different than I normally eat. It's just that I was doing it right before going to bed. So.
Right, but I think you weren't eating. You'd gotten your body into the habit of he wasn't eating as much at dinner because we go for a walk right away. So he was coming home, dinner's ready. You're like, we're kind of eating. You kind of would hurry to eat so we can go on a walk because it's pitch black out, and you know, though you want to get it in before it's too late, because you don't want to be like walking before, you know, when it's 9 o'clock at night. So I think you were rushing a little more, and then not eating as much, and I think that, you know, so now we're just a little more mindful. So I wanted to share that. So eating right before bed. If you can not do that, you'll sleep better. I can guarantee it. If you're eating this way, if you're eating the crap, if you're still eating all the dairy especially and meat, and, you know, heavily meat diet, you're not gonna sleep very well. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Unless you're drinking before you go to bed or something, then I think you probably might sleep really well. Okay, so all right, so I have another thing here. Some big news.
Oh yeah. This week?
Yeah. Was it Monday?
I think it was Monday, yep.
I officially passed my certification for a holistic nutrition coach.
Yay.
So, and it was hard. I thought, I'll just jump in, and it was 75 questions, all multiple choice. It took me a long time to pass it.
Well, and a gauge of that, how the difficulty of it was, how long did they give you to take it?
They gave 3 hours. I took about an hour and a half.
It's not like a 20-minute test.
And the thing was, it's kind of like an open book test. All the material you can use, but it was tough, guys. It was really hard, but I passed it. So technically, I'm a certified holistic nutrition coach. So maybe we'll have some new things coming in the future. I'm going to talk about more of that kind of stuff next week, because I'm kind of working on.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I feel good about that. So the things that I've done since going whole food plant-based, I did the Forks Over Knives certified cooking class. Awesome. If for any of you out there, I totally suggest it. I think they have $100 off on it right now, but did that. Did the through the Center for Nutrition Studies, I got the E. Cornell certificate for plant-based nutrition through them, and now I'm officially a certified holistic nutrition coach, which I did learn a lot of really good things in that certification too. So yeah, kind of fun.
Yay.
It's been fun, and you've been on the journey with me too.
Yeah.
He's listening to McDougall's "It's the Starch Solution" book right now. That's really good. And
well, I listened to the China study first. You read it, and then I listened to it on my way back and forth from work.
Right.
That was just fascinating because it covers so many different topics.
Yeah. So you're 100% in it with me. It's not just me. He's educating himself too. And the last thing aside from saying Merry Christmas to all of you, and it's exciting, but for Christmas with the kids getting older, but I don't know. You're feeling very festive,
well,
right?
It seemed like we don't have any snow, or a dusting is all. There's really
kind
no
of
snow.
warm today.
And it's kind of warm, and then it's rained more than it snowed this month.
There's lots of people that live in other places where there's not snow. It's interesting. Yeah. It's been quite a year. I think with all the stuff that's going on, I don't know. I don't want to say bah humbug, but I've been a little. Plus, I gotta say, the more that that I'm getting into what we're doing, and I'm not about like the presence aspect. You know, it's all for me. It's all about Christ, and I don't know. I think that materialism is like the demise of our society. I think that's one of the things that, and I've been akin to it. Like we like our things, but I don't know. It's just I just rather spend time with people, and so anyway, that's my little thing. Okay, so what do we do? Yesterday we took Haley to the airport. So we were in Grand Rapids, and I have to show these little flowers here. See, I don't know if you can see. I put them in a little ball jar. You know, you can't really see the yellow. It's like too bright. There you go. Very pretty. We went to Trader Joe's. They gave me flowers. They gave us flowers because that was the first time we had been to the Trader Joe's in Grand Rapids. And I know for those of you back in Fort Wayne, where we lived in Auburn, but in the Fort Wayne area, I think they have a Trader Joe's now. But it was fun to go. And we got a lot of not plant perfect things. They're vegan things. We got a lot of snacks that are, you know, for
They
the
have a
holidays.
lot of good things. You can't help but to walk out of there with more than what you wanted
Their
to.
produce looks really
Yeah,
good too. We
it
didn't
does.
buy any produce there, but we got they have like a bunch of vegan dips. We got some of those. We got some crackers to have with those for the kids. We thought it would be fun to do that. Our one daughter has a nut allergy. My oldest brought her some like almost like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but they're a Sun butter like. Oh boy, guys! See, I've eaten those this week, and I still lost a pound. I'm just amazed.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. But so we got some of the not plant perfect things, but a lot of the vegan things we picked up. So they gave us those. They gave us some suckers. It was just a lot of fun. But I look at their frozen food section. They got some good stuff. They got some good produce. Good stuff.
It's amazing how much they have in that. This is not a really big store.
Yeah,
They have a lot in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like I consider it to be like a healthier version of like Aldi or something. Yeah. So anyways, that was fun to do that. And we like tonight I was gonna talk about what we're making. I've been baking today. I made some pies, and I should out myself. I used Shane and Simple, and I think I'll have his link in here too. He has some awesome whole food plant-based no oil recipes. But I cheated, guys. I bought some pie crust, and then I was reading them this morning, and they have lard in them. I'm like, they're not even vegan, Darren, but whatever. The kids, whatever. So it is what it is. But it was fun to make I'll let you know how the pumpkin pies turn out for the pie itself. So maybe I'll have to do an alternative. I would probably do his pie crust, but it's a nut based, and then my one daughter can't have it. So, but whatever, we did that. So I'm outing myself. We're not having a truly vegan whole food plant based holiday because of the pie crust.
Unintentionally though.
Well, because I didn't read them.
Well, I mean, it happens.
So we're doing that. I just made some ginger cookies. I'm gonna do some dip, but tonight we're gonna do some like little tofurkey roasts and some mashed potatoes, and maybe some cabbage. We're gonna cook up some cabbage, and then tomorrow we're gonna do we're gonna do like a whole bunch of veggie stuff with all those dips and stuff, and then
Good stuff.
we're gonna actually make some burgers. So that's another thing that's not really plant perfect. So it's kind of, just a different kind of a thing since it's the
But
holiday.
it's a treat because we don't usually.
Originally, I
make
was
that
going to
stuff.
make lasagna, but then I'm like, let's make it easy. So this is what we're doing because it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I would love to hear what you all are having for the holidays because, it's fun to share recipes and things, and maybe I'll be doing more of that soon. So, and if you're not a member, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you need to hop on there, or Facebook on there, or you can call it the InstaFace, because since he owns both of them, whatever, the Zuckerberg. And then also, we have a group on Facebook. I haven't really done a lot in there, but I'd love to have you be a part of that. So hop on there. I'll have a link in the bottom of this video. Do you have anything you want to share?
No, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a very blessed Christmas, and you can enjoy friends and family, and be healthy. Stay healthy. Eat your plants, move your body, and we'll be back next week. I think you could be in it with me.
Yep.
Because you'll be
I
off
think-
on, hopefully.
Yeah, the weeks this week, or this week is the same as next week, pretty much.
Okay, so you have
I'll
Friday
be off on
off.
Friday. Yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Man will be hopefully joining me
That's
then.
the plan.
All right. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. You all have a blessed one, and Merry Christmas. Bye now.